So I was looking on Crunchyroll for an anime to watch, as I often do when there's nothing to do and I'm very bored, and I came across this anime called Beelzebub. And honestly, after watching 60 episodes of that anime, I came to the conclusion that I really enjoyed it. To give you a brief synopsis of the anime, there's this guy called Ogre who's a delinquent at his school, and he's the best. He's the best at fighting, everyone fights him. He's so much stronger than everyone else. He's the top dog at the school, basically. And as he's going to this river, he comes across this river, and there's this guy just floating along it. And this guy just opens up, and then out pops this baby. And it turns out this baby is the son of the demon lord or demon king or whatever in hell, and he sent this baby to go destroy humanity, and this delinquent has to raise the baby as if it's his own. And basically it's just shenanigans ensue. The baby's naked for some reason. They ran out of Huggies nappies for it. I don't really know what it is. There's a maid who's there to help him out and to make sure he doesn't do anything wrong to the baby or anything. It's a very silly show. It's more comedic than shonen, I would say. But overall, I found it to be really good. However, there are two major issues with the anime that I'll just briefly touch on. Its beginning and its end. I'll talk more about the end near the end of the video. So the first few episodes of the anime are really dull and boring. The characters are just uninteresting and forgettable. Ogre just feels like he has no personality. Fuichi, he's kind of just there. He doesn't really do anything. Hilda has a very clear personality, but not in the good character kind of way. And Beale kind of just does nothing. You're kind of like, why is he a baby? He doesn't really contribute to the story in any way. He's kind of just there. He's basically as useful as like the gloves that Suna uses in Reborn. He doesn't really do anything. He's kind of just there as a plot point. It doesn't really get good until Aoi appears. I think that's how to pronounce the name. So it doesn't really get good until Aoi appears. Now Aoi is a great character. In fact, she's probably the best character in the show. I love her relationship with Ogre. It really shows two sides to both characters. They really develop each other. So Aoi has this badass, she's the leader of the women in the school. She protects all the women from the men and all that. She's a strong badass character, but outside of school, she's this, I wouldn't say nerdy, but she has this kind of nerdy look to her of being the one in glasses. She looks after her little brother or cousin, I can't remember what he was to her, but she looks after him, carries him around. And it also develops Ogre's character, because Ogre meets up with her a lot. They constantly bump into each other. Ogre never recognizes her. However, Aoi develops feelings for Ogre as well, which adds a very sweet side to her. And it shows a softer side to Ogre as well, because he's not beating someone up. He's just talking to a girl and being generally very nice to her and people around him outside of school. It also gives a lot of development to Beale as well, because like I said, Aoi is with her little brother, and Beale and Beale and Kota, the name of Aoi's brother, they're constantly going on little play dates, and they always get into fights, and there's a lot of rivalry. And this is where the show starts to get really funny for me, because Beale's like this all-powerful demon king in the making, and he's losing to a toddler. Like, he cannot beat another child. He constantly loses at every opportunity. Like I said, the show gets a lot funnier and the characters start to develop. The show's saving grace, in my opinion, is the characters. You know, like I said, always the best character. She has this relationship with a lot of the other girls as well. It's nice to see that part about how all the other girls want to look after her and protect her in the same way that she's protected them. They're kind of resentful towards Ogre because obviously he's taken her heart without realizing. So it's good to see that aspect as well. Ogre and Beale get a lot of development as the show goes on after Aoi appears. See, Ogre initially wanted to get rid of Beale at the best opportunity he could, because it turns out that Beale is attracted to like the most powerful evil man, so Ogre's constantly trying to find someone far more darker and eviler than he is, much to Hilda's pleasure. Hilda doesn't want Ogre around either. She kind of wants Beale all to herself. She kind of takes on a mother's role in that regard. And like I said, Beale is also searching for someone stronger. You don't get a sense that either of them care about each other. Beale's kind of just there for the power. But then it does develop a lot, and there are moments where it looks like Beale's going to go off with another character, and you can see that Ogre starts to get a little jealous and starts to really care about the character. You can see it in his eyes and how he reacts. And then it also becomes clear that Beale also really, really likes Ogre as well. There's a moment where Beale mistakes another character for Ogre and instantly latches onto him. So it's great to see those two characters develop with one another and see their relationships get stronger, and you really feel like the two care for each other. Fuichi has by far the biggest redemption out of any character in the show. Like I said, the characters really sucked at the beginning, but Fuichi really develops and gets stronger. His main character trait is that he's an extremely horny teenager who's just attracted to women, which leads to a lot of the jokes, and a lot of them do actually land because he kind of sucks. He kind of becomes a bit of a degenerate and a bit of a scumbag at times, which really works in favour for his character because he really sticks out compared to the others. He's a huge source of comedic effect in the show. He's not the boring sidekick that he was in the first few episodes, and he's also really good because he's not just that pervert that he's presented as. He also does look out for the other characters, and that there's an episode where he gets to really show his more manly side and his heroism, and he actually does impress the girls, not to the point that any of them want to date him or anything, but he does impress them in a way where they're like, oh, he actually had something up his sleeve. I also love Fuichi's relationship with Alain Delon. I think that's the character's name. I'll just call him Alan from now on to make it easier. But Fuichi and Alan have this really warped, weird relationship, and they also don't overplay it. They did initially, but they use Alan a lot less and less as the show goes on. He becomes much more of a background character, which works a lot better for him. He's a sort of character that works a lot better in smaller doses. Less is more with this character, and it is great, his relationship with Fuichi, because he loves Fuichi, and it's kind of funny that Fuichi just wants all these women, and the only person he gets is this Alan guy. So it adds to a lot of comedy there. Kanzuki and Himikawa get more and more developed. They both start out as very one-dimensional, crap, bland characters. They have like this weird character trait, and initially that's all there is to them. Like Kanzuki is just completely, he likes yogurt, that's his defining character trait, and it's kind of boring. And Himikawa just has weird hair, which a lot of anime have a character with just weird hair, that specific weird hair too. So neither character really sticks out at first, but they both get more and more development, and especially with each other, you feel like the two kind of just band together because they realise they're the two weakest out of the strongest characters in the show. So they band together. Kanzuki gets some screen time with Beale as well. Maybe it was just me, but I felt like the two really developed a bit of a surprising friendship. And Himikawa gets a really good joke when his hair goes down, and they actually really play into his hair. They, instead of backing off on it, they really go headstrong into it, and it works so much. They really commit to the joke, and eventually it starts to become funny, especially when his hair goes down and he becomes extremely attractive to all the women, but he for some reason thinks he looks worse. It's just so much better. Lamia is a fun character. She's mainly used to develop Fuichi. Like I said, Fuichi's main gag is that he's a pervert, so they then bring in this like lolly character, and of course, like with Alan, the only people that Fuichi ever gets a chance with is the two characters that he has no interest in. And there's so many moments where the two kind of like fall on each other, like he trips and lands on her, and then people walk in and his shirt somewhere's come off, and they're like, oh my god, you lolicon pervert. So there's a lot of jokes on that. Lamia, fun character, mainly used for Fuichi's benefit, but like I said, it's nice and fun. N is a very cool character. The story starts to develop around the time that N gets introduced. N's sent there to do what Beale couldn't, which is to destroy humanity, but N is very similar to his dad. N is a character that just is too lazy to do anything. He kind of just lounges around. He just wants to play video games. He's not really into destroying the world. He's just having fun for the sake of having fun. And he's just a cool character. He kind of shows what Beale would be without Ogre. And I especially love his very hot maids. They're probably the best part of the whole show, if you ask me, even though, again, they all have personality, but they also really don't have any personality as well. But not all the characters are good. I would say Koma, Tojo, and Hilda are really bad. Hildegard, unlike the other characters, remains the same. She remains that boring character from the beginning. She doesn't get any development until the end of the anime, and it just feels like too little too late. She could have been a great character. There's a lot of stuff going on with her that could have led to being a great character, but within the anime, she doesn't really get much time to shine, and she kind of gets pushed to the background in favour of the high school characters. Todo's an interesting character because he kind of takes on the same role that Kanzuki and Himikawa had. Except unlike them, he just doesn't get the screen time to develop. He doesn't, like, Kanzuki and Himikawa get like 60 episodes of development, so he gets barely any. He just appears every now and then. He's kind of more of a deus ex machina to just solve situations because of how powerful he is. But he doesn't really do anything or add anything. And then there's Koma. Koma is just a crappy version of Khan from Bleach. He's just a much weaker character. He's literally just a pervert who just goes after women and does all of that. Khan had that, but Khan at least showed heart at times. Khan at least had redeeming qualities. Koma is just there. Koma just does stuff. He's nothing. He's just a power up at every used once in the anime. He really adds nothing. He's more of a detriment to the anime than anything. He's just crap. He's a crap character. To get back to the other weakness that the show had, it has a really bad ending. It's really rushed. This is because the anime caught up to the manga, so there was nothing they could really do, and they decided to just end it there. I was still sad to see it end, especially because the anime had such promise, and I really liked the anime as well. But there was a moment in the ending, as rushed and as crappy as it was, where Beale has this thing that I haven't mentioned, where whenever he cries, he shoots out electricity and electrocutes Ogre and anyone within a certain vicinity. But there's a moment in the final episode where Beale just bursts out crying because he has to say goodbye to Ogre, and he just doesn't electrocute him. And it's just so sad to see that moment, which then gets completely undone at the end. But it doesn't matter. The anime is still fun. The anime is still fun. There's always the manga as well. The manga continues the story. I might pick up the manga if I can find it anywhere. It's so easy to find anime, but I can never find manga anywhere. Also, the anime is made by Studio Pro, so the animation is really good, but it has aged like other Studio Pro anime. And if you compare it to other anime that came out in 2011, like Steins Gate, Guilty Crown, and Hunter x Hunter, especially Hunter x Hunter, it has aged a lot worse than they have. Also, with it being Studio Pro, the openings are really good. Studio Pro are known for having really good soundtracks and openings. You know, they had the Bleach soundtrack, they had the Bleach openings, the Naruto openings, they had Unravel. You know, Pro is known for their openings, and I would say the openings in Beelzebub is also really good. Maybe not to the same level as the Naruto openings and the Bleach openings and the Tokyo Ghoul openings or whatever, but the openings are really, really good. I still recommend the anime despite its weak beginning and end, as it's really funny. It's not the funniest anime. I wouldn't ever say it's anywhere near the funniest, but I absolutely love the characters, especially Aoi and Fuichi, and I love the relationship between Ogre and Beale, and I really wish the anime continued and came back. Maybe if the Bleach anime does really well, they'll bring it back. But, you know, if you like it, watch it. You could always pick up the manga if you really like it afterwards anyway. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Bye bye.